I gotta give you a nice little one of those like little corner things in a rap album. There's like caution. There's some crazy shit that's right here, and you might get in trouble for it. That's this guy sitting on the couch, just to let you know.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because we drove 13 hours to come to this comedy show last night, right?
Yeah.
And the opener of this show,
Shout out, Matt.
we got a little advisory label from Travis before the show, and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, this guy is about to come out. He gets a little mad if at least like 80% of the crowd isn't offended by what he's saying.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a little edgy."
He had so much stuff set up for yesterday's show, right?
Yeah.
And he came back behind this curtain, and he was kind of hurt because he wasn't able to do the material that he had set up. I think this is a perfect time for you to tell me what the fuck you had to say, especially about a person that I love, because you teased me with it, and I didn't get to hear the shit. I want to know what you were going to say.
Are you saying you love Drake's floppy half Jewish cock?
No.
Or you love Toby Keith?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. No, I was going to do my impression of Toby Keith. That's all it was. That's the only thing.
God damn.
How do you like me now? No. That was literally the whole joke for Toby Keith. That was it. So there was nothing more than that.
Yeah.
You know,
he told
planned.
me on the phone, he was like, "You like Toby Keith, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You're going to get mad." And I was like, "Fuck, dude, why?"
Good. Yeah, I just like pushing that needle a little bit. That's just what I've always found funny. I mean, grew up watching George Carlin and fucking Richard Pryor and of course Dave Chappelle and shit. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, definitely one of those things where if it can piss somebody off, but I can make them laugh while pissing them off, that's what I want to do. These guys know. They've been around me long enough. I'm glad they gave you the warning before you guys got there. Cause
do you think this edgy comedy is more driven by like you just being a shyster or maybe some childhood trauma?
a little bit of both. Like, I don't want to say my childhood was fucked up by any means, but I was like homeless in second grade, grew up in the hood, like
So you grew up on Main
Normal
Street.
yeah,
bro.
yeah, normal
Like-
shit. You know, somebody just got stabbed on Main
literally
Street last night. Just got murdered
Like,
in my neighborhood.
I'm so glad. I'm not glad, but I'm so glad that happened because we're in the living room and my wife comes down and she goes, somebody just got stabbed on Main Street. And I was like, damn, again?
Yeah.
And they're like casually like, what the fuck is Main Street? This is a product of Main Street.
Yeah. I grew up on Main Street.
Okay.
Like, pretty much lived there my whole life. So, I mean,
Besides
everybody.
the second grade.
What's that?
Besides the second grade.
Yeah, besides the second grade. Fuck you, God damn it. Yeah, besides the second grade when I didn't have a place to live, you know. I actually lived here in Clyde. But, yeah, I mean, that's just normal everyday shit that goes on down there. So, like, you know, never change Main Street, you know.
Right.
I'm a product of my environment, I guess.
Is that
so.
the like 8 Mile of Ohio?
No, that is so I couldn't compare it to 8 Mile because 8 Mile was a trailer park. Main Street is nothing but blacks and Mexicans, and I was the only white boy down there. But I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, but I don't look it. So
Pretty cracker to me.
my mom's white as fuck,
Yeah,
bro.
Pretty
So-
cracker to me,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. So I was the white boy. I was this. I was, all that good shit. But yeah, total opposite of 8 Mile. No trailers. Not a lot of white people. If you are a white person on Main Street, you're smoking crack. So that's pretty much that.
How'd that treat you?
What's that?
How'd that treat you?
Obviously, I'm not on crack. Look at my gut and bitch tits, bro. Like, no. I told Travis this story before, but just to give you guys some background on Main Street and how it was down there, my dad was the guy who showed up to your house when you didn't pay for your crack. So, seen a lot of shit, done a lot of shit since I was a little kid. So that's why a lot of this stuff that I say is fucked up, because that shit's funny to me. I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen worse. So
Yeah, there was one of the stories he was telling me was about how like Christmas was always sick sometimes because the gifts weren't real like gifts; it was just collateral that he would just snatch from the houses and shit.
Dude.
And he's like, "Oh hell yeah, dude! How did we get the money for this?" He's like, "Don't worry about it."
Fucking
like PlayStations and shit.
dude, yeah,
Hell
100%.
yeah.
It was when PlayStation 1s first came out. My dad brought in this fucking box of like 40 different games, all the accessories. I'm like, bro, we didn't know if we were gonna eat last night. Where the fuck did you get this? Like, he's like, don't fucking worry about it. Well, before my dad passed, he started telling me all this shit. He's like, yeah, I was the guy that showed up and beat the shit out of you if you owed money for crack. So, Merry Christmas.
So, are we talking
Santa.
Fuck.
crack specific or?
Well, I mean, it was the early 90s, so I mean,
lot of crack.
A lot of crack, you know, a lot of FUBU jerseys, a lot of cookouts, you know, all that shit. So, yeah, pretty much all crack. I think it's heroin now.
Probably 100%.
Yeah, Fremont's a lot of heroin.
Awful lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thing goes around like crazy.
Yeah.
You guys get a lot of fentanyl around here?
Lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh,
Is that just everywhere? Is that just everywhere?
I think it's.
I thought that was a
Yeah,
Minnesota
I think
thing.
it,
I think the Fetty is taking over at this point.
that's nationwide now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Me and Cody Ray were gonna smoke crack yesterday.
we did. We did before the cookie
All right,
race.
I didn't.
Or at least I did.
Everybody doesn't need to know, dude. But we smoked.
Okay,
crack,
he did and I did.
and Cody won the race, dude.
Whose idea was the crack?
It was Cody Ray brought it up. I was the one that pushed us to smoke crack.
Gotcha.
It was an experience, man.
Hell yeah.
Speaking
dude.
of crack, you see Cody Ray did that cookie race yesterday?
I did. I
was
was
a
a
whole
very
lot of
weak
crack.
stomach, so the whole time I was watching it, dude, I was just fucking just
I,
gagging. the
I
whole
totally
fucking
forgot
time,
about
dude.
that. I showed him the photo yesterday.
Right before I went on stage, he comes up. He's like, "Look at this cookie." There's like 3 little blonde ass hairs stuck to the cookie. I'm like, "You fucking ate
Dude,
that."
I watched
bro.
his whole
Like,
face. It was just like, yeah, what the fuck is that, dude? And I'm like, that was great.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of the thing was that you guys did the Facebook Marketplace Market Mania.
He was the
You were
judge.
there for that. weren't
Yeah,
you?
he was the
Okay.
judge.
So the losers of that had to hold the cookie between their ass cheeks and run, and then the loser had to eat the cookie that was in the ass cheek.
Yeah,
right?
so it was like you had to lose to be the real loser.
I love how you said that as if you were questioning what you saw yesterday. Like you watched us run with a cookie in our asshole, basically.
Well,
Cody
that's
Ray diving.
it was just everything happened so fast. I just wanted more
I
clarification.
know we were fast as fuck, weren't we?
It was like a 10-minute ordeal. I'm like, what is happening?
You guys should have
Everyone's
spiced
naked.
it up and fucking had each other eat each other's cookies.
No,
Not a chance.
No, I would. You saw that cookie.
I was kissing that with my butthole.
I was surprised there was ass hair because you have the butt of like a 12-year-old boy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't see any ass hair whatsoever
No
in
meat.
the video.
No.
But then the evidence of the ass hair on there, I'm like, fuck.
It's all
you, dude.
inside.
It's all inside.
I'd fucking kill myself if I had to eat that.
Yeah.
I would literally put a gun in my mouth. There's no fucking way I'm eating that cookie, dude. Mm-mm. I'll die.
Yeah.
Cody Ray won and still chose to eat his fucking cookie.
Well, we didn't know who won really at that time.
So he's like, fuck it, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah, I let the snow wipe it off a little bit because I tossed it out of my ass on the dive.
That was definitely the pit bull in you.
It was, dude. I was committed,
Jeez,
locked
man.
in.
That's how you get there. That's how you get there. It's all about experience.
I think I can say this because I'm half Puerto Rican. That was the most white people shit I've ever seen in my
Oh, yeah.
fucking
Very
life,
cracker.
dude. That
Yeah.
was like, that was 2%. That was whole milk. That was fucking
Anybody
terrible.
else you would at least had to pay him something to do that. We did that for free. We came up with the idea actually.
The
Well,
best
not
part
the
was
idea,
so many
but-
people opened up their Instagrams to then just see grown men ass that looks like toddler ass in jock straps, just running with a cookie, and they're like, "What the?" And like everybody was like, I couldn't not watch it. It's like that was the thing that was so funny. Everybody was like, I saw it, and I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, they're running. What do they got in their butt?
Speak for yourself, dude. Cody Ray's walking around with some cake.
Oh yeah.
I did get.
You got a fucking dump truck back
I
there,
do.
brother?
Yeah, he does.
It ate the cookie,
You
dude.
thick boy?
It
Dude,
ate the
that,
cookie.
like what did Nick say? It was a vacuum. It just took the just
the
took the
HVAC
cookie, dude. talk about that though. So like outside of the race going into that, how did that treat you? Randomly getting handed 2 dead dogs' ashes.
So, shout out Nick because Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
He's a character.
As soon as he pulled it out, I looked at him. I'm like, can I guess what that is? Like, I know what the fuck that is. And he's like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, what the fuck did you guys just invite me to do? That's ashes. Like, I've seen this before, you know? And he's like, just look at the bottom. And I lift it up, and it says Brandy and Brownie Baker or some shit like that. And I'm like, this is fucking ashes. And I immediately thought, I'm like, oh, this is somebody's grandma. Like, this has to be a person. And he's like, no, it's 2 dogs. I'm like, where the fuck did you find this? And then he's like, Toledo. I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Holy
dude.
Toledo.
I told them, I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me to be a part of. Like, somebody's memories are in that fucking
Exactly.
earth. Like,
I heard your jokes last night, dude. That's where you crossed the line, dead dogs. You talked about killing your fucking family.
You
I did,
shouted
I
out
did.
the fucking Jews in Jerusalem.
I did shout out.
Oh, dude,
shout out to
great
the Jews.
opener, bro.
holding it
Right
down.
away, I was like, yeah,
You're
I'm
holding
gonna
it
like this
down.
set.
There was so much more to that joke that I wanted to hit on, but as soon as that fucking woman started talking about my grandma had 7 husbands, I'm like, what? And she's going on and on about, yeah, they all died. I'm like, are you fucking aware that your grandma's a serial killer? Like,
Didn't she admit at the beginning that they beat the shit out of her too?
yeah.
Isn't that how that started?
Yeah, because I said I beat the shit out of my girlfriend.
Or,
With
so-
respect.
With respect, yeah. 'Cause I love that bitch. Love that
How
bitch.
many years have you been doing stand up?
That was only my 4th show, so like it's been
Damn.
spread out over 3 years.
Okay.
Because like there's not much of a scene in this area, but I mean these guys have really taken the ball and run with it. So I mean
Fucking love you.
they've been putting it on, man, and they brought comedy to Fremont, so it's just been kind of one of those things. Like a lot of people know that I'm a piece of shit in the hometown, so I'm like, they're like, oh, you're doing stand up? I'm like, yeah, come hear a rape joke or something. I don't know, whatever you want to hear. And so yeah, I mean that's really been it. But that was my 4th time being on stage.
That's crazy. Dude, you killed it for only being your 4th time on
Thank you,
stage.
man. Thank you.
What's kind of cool is the fact that like, well, I did my very first show and that was his 3rd show, and I was like, I was able to put him up and tee him up for that, and I like taking picture back. We had like 5 different moments that night of like, who would have thought kind of deal.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But after it was all said and done, it was kind of like I was able to bring you up. The fact that 1st and 3rd, and we were able to go as smooth as we did that night.
Yeah.
Even with the 2nd show, with what was happening with your one of your best friends.
Shut the fuck up. He's not my best friend. Dude.
Oh, come on, Patrick. We've been trying to.
Patrick, dude.
You got ties with him. Can we get him on the pod one day?
he fucking. He's got 4 fingers.
Yeah, dude, he's got a Simpsons hand. It's no, like to give you some background on what the fuck they're talking about. There was a guy who heckled myself and Bill Squire pretty goddamn hard
Yeah, it was
during
wild.
the
He was
second
just
show of the
wasted,
night.
dude.
Hammered. When Travis was up there, I thought it was a woman talking. And then I'm like, who's this fucking old bitch out here running her mouth? Like, I will smack the dentures out this hoe. Like, I'm not dealing with this shit. Then I get out there and I realize, oh, this is a fucking guy I know. Worked at McDonald's with him when I was a kid. Like, people would go through the line and be like, yes, thank you, ma'am. He's like, I'm a man. I'm like,
Oh my God.
this is weird, but
So one of the things that I don't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
you're
though.
good, you're
One
good.
of the reasons why this happened was because during the comedy shows, we try and put on like 5 different things at once with it, and one of them was a drink menu. We weren't able to do it last night because AJ and Jake aren't drinkers, and I didn't want to just put something on them for that. But his drink, since his name is Matt Roca, he has Roca Patron, which also, fuck you, that's sick. He just
sick,
randomly has a brand. He's like, well, this is mine, but it's not. But his buddy bought 3 bottles of Roca Patron.
yeah, it was rough.
Like him and his table drank 3 full bottles.
And
of
he's
Patron
fucking
that night.
90 pounds. Like, he had no business drinking that much alcohol, dude.
At
Like,
the
at
end,
all.
at the end of it, he tried to stand up, and that thing was just like it was like the whole room moved on him fast as shit. And we are like, "Oh, he's done." He was hugging a trash
Yeah.
can when he got outside. Oh, like, but he was.
It was fucking terrible, dude.
deleting them. But that's like we were almost brought back the Roca drink, but I was like,
Probably
"Do
not a
we
good
want to
idea.
deal with that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't expect to hear or see when we drove 13 hours to come to this comedy show was some Jew jokes, some school shooting jokes, some I'm gonna kill my family jokes.
Yeah.
It was a great switch up. I like it.
Yeah, dude. You know, every now and again, you just got to throw out a killing a kid joke, you know, and it sets the tone.
It's
you
got to
know?
get a lot of mixed reactions, I would imagine.
For sure. The reason why I asked that lady if she ever thought about killing her kids was because as soon as I said how Chris Benoit, my whole family, her face, like
Wait.
she was like, I'm like,
Wait, you said that? I didn't hear that.
oh yeah. I said,
Dude, that's so sick.
I said, I'll Chris Benoit the whole fucking family. I'll fucking kill my kids. And then I just fucking coming out, just, ready to
With
put 'em all-
respect.
Yeah. I'll put my kids in the crippler
Would you
crossface.
say like strangling's lame, drowning's way more fun?
So she said, I just want to strangle him. I said, that's fucked up because I would prefer to drown my kids so I don't have to see the life leave their eyes. And then that's when, dude, that kind of hit like one of those things where I was like, oh shit, maybe that might have been too far.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
My kids know I love them.
You ever hear a guy in the crowd that just laughs a little too hard at a fucked up joke, and you're like, "Ooh, that guy's mentally fucked."
Dude, the last set we did at Moonshine that I was a part of, I can't remember what the fuck I said. I think it was when I started singing the Matthew Perry Friends theme song.
That was crazy.
All I got out was
I know who you're talking about because I was sitting behind him watching
Dude.
him. Every time you said a fucked up joke, he was losing it.
that
dude.
guy was like, I was like, dude, he's clearly a fucking psychopath. Like,
Yeah.
he might have actually killed somebody before,
Like he's not okay.
No,
There's
not
some
at all.
trauma there. He's fighting some demons in the crowd.
As soon as I said Matthew Perry's dead, the whole crowd was like, "Ooh!" And then I can hear him go, "Ha!" I'm like, "Oh shit, this guy's fucked up like me. Like, this is gonna work out, you know?" But
I did a little too much.
yeah, dude, I literally remixed the Friends song with essentially Matthew Perry dying. I was like, "So no one told you life was gonna end this way. Your body didn't float, it's gonna bloat. The EMT said you were DOA." Like,
Oh my
I
god!
got to that point, dude, and like everyone was dying laughing, but like I could still hear that guy. So absolutely had one of those moments where I'm like, he should be in prison. Like, there's no reason for that, you know?
It's so good. I love. We've had this conversation, and I talked to the comedians last night. We were hanging out with them. We was talking about how like you're a heel comedian.
Yeah.
It was like one of the things that I haven't really seen now that I'm starting to go to shows a lot and see a lot of stand up was you basically typically want to just have everybody leave with a smile and such. You don't want that. You want people to go in there and love you because they hate you so much. Basically, they're like,
Yeah.
man, that guy fucking like, but you remember him.
I just want to go in there and say the shit that everybody thinks, but is too afraid to say it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's always been
You feel guilty
my
when
thing.
you laugh a little bit.
Yeah, like yeah, we want to laugh at dead baby jokes. We want to laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but we can't because we
Yeah.
feel bad. Like,
You-
no, fuck that.
you-
Kill your kids.
You
Like,
are the intrusive thoughts on stage.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
I want somebody to kill their family when they leave my show.
It's on the bucket list.
Yeah, dude, for
Found
sure.
out what part we edit out on this pod.
if somebody went home and was like, "Oh, I got arrested because I killed one of my family members after your show," I'm gonna be like, "Fuck, dude, print that out. Let's get that fucking hung up in the house. Like, I want the news article. of
That's
that.
gonna be your
Like,
merch.
Yeah,
at
for
the,
sure.
at the
I would-
table coming
It's
out.
a fucking
These
great
DMs.
idea. Yeah.
That actually would be a good merch idea because a guy like you, I would imagine, the more that you do it, I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of like hate comments and
Oh,
hate
100%,
DMs.
yeah.
You know,
I
That's
already
just-
have 'em.
That just comes.
Yeah.
It'd be funny to print that out and like sell signed copies of these
That's a
DMs,
fucking great
like
idea.
screenshots, or
Yeah.
even put that on merch. That'd be sweet.
I'm working on that as soon as I get home. That's a fucking great idea, dude. Hell yeah.
I'd buy one.
Just a
I'd
shirt,
buy
of,
one.
just a shirt of hate, but you know, it's like, yeah, I love this. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I got so much shit because I posted the first ever joke I ever told on stage was a rape joke. And everyone was like, it took the fucking air out of the room, but then like 5 minutes later, like I had everybody just worked back into it and it actually ended up working out.
The principle of it is the best part, though.
Yeah, so the first show I did was for like 450 people. I did 20 minutes for a volunteer fire department. So essentially the joke was, you can't say fire in this place because that's going to send everybody into a fucking frenzy, right? There's so many firefighters there. So I'm going to replace that word in the story with a less alarming word, which was rape. And then it just fucking stayed quiet. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this is terrible. This is the worst thing I've ever
and it's
done.
your first set.
My first ever joke. It's my first fucking joke, dude. So I go through and I'm like, so we're gonna replace that word, with the less alarming word, rape, whatever. And then I'm like, so I went to this bond rape, and this rape was getting out of control. I'm like, it was one of the messiest rapes I've ever been to. Like, I've started a few rapes, so I kind of know. Like, and that killed after that. And I was like, okay, this might work. So,
All right, at least we know they're a little bit fucked up.
oh yeah, just a tad bit,
Just had to work them into it.
The audience was, like I said, 400 and some people, whatever. The town is only like 500 people fucking total. So I'm like, I'm going to this random ass little village about 10 minutes down the road from here. And I'm like, you guys want to hear who ate all the pussy jokes? Like, it was terrible, man.
have you bombed yet? Any of your first sets?
I've had jokes bomb. I had a dead dad joke. My dad passed about 4 years ago, so like I made this joke about how the worst prank he ever played on us was smoking for 30 years and dying of lung cancer in front of me. And then I was like, I stood by his bed like fucking Arnie from Gilbert Grape, just like, Mama, wake up. Nobody found that
my
funny. I was
God.
like, fuck. They don't like dead dad jokes. Like, yeah.
I would imagine you got to be very careful with delivery of some of those things because
Yes.
that's kind of where the comedy is.
Yes.
In the how am I hearing this? Because if the way that you just said it now, it's like, oh, am I allowed to laugh at that? Is this okay?
Are you?
Everybody got the exact opposite reaction and went, oh.
Poor guy.
I don't want sympathy. Like, it's fine, dude. Like, if I mean, my dad would be fucking cackling over that. Like, he would have thought that was the funniest shit.
Now, as you're getting bigger and doing more shows, do you have any? Do you think that's ever going to be an issue into a bigger city, or do you ever plan on toning it down depending on the venue, or are you just gonna full send it every time?
No, like, I mean, there's obviously gonna be times where I'm gonna full send no matter what, but I understand, like, there's gonna be some times where I can't go out there and just fucking be like, I want to kill my kids, and
Like
like,
you're gonna do a benefit show for kids
Yeah.
with cancer or something, and you're just just
so
drop-
cancer's funny, right? Like,
Hey,
so
that
the
might
thing with
crush.
cancer- Yeah, no
It might
shit.
crush.
You're-
It's worth a shot.
You're a great opening act for the other comedians because they can really feel the crowd out
Oh,
by
yeah.
how yours goes.
It's crazy how that worked too. Like the couple times that we've done this, like how crazy you are.
I felt bad the first time we did a show together because, like, when Bill came out, I literally ended my set talking about how I have the tightest asshole this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And, like, Bill comes out and he starts telling his jokes, and I'm like, I'm new to this. I don't know if I just shit all over somebody. I don't know. I'm like, should I have asked Bill if that was okay? I don't know how to do this shit. So, I mean, I'm kind of learning a lot more, but yeah, I mean,
How
to
did it
have
do?
somebody follow it, I mean, I hope that they're okay with it, you know?
How did that joke do that? Did it play out well or not?
Oh, yeah. Essentially, the joke was I have IBS, so I haven't had a solid shit in 15 years.
Okay.
I'm like, I have the tightest asshole this side of the Mississippi. I'm not saying that. Other people are saying that, you know? And then I said, when I fart, it sounds like a dog whistle. And I piss my neighbors off because it sends the neighborhood dogs into a frenzy when I fart. So that one was one of my mild jokes. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
it
that was
wasn't
the
anything-
very mild.
I said my ass was tighter than a nun's, and basically went into asking a guy, I'm like, you got to make a guy come. What are you using, mouth or ass? And he was like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, you got to figure it out, dude. I'm like, because
And I'm watching this guy work, and like, of course, new in the game, and that table that he directed that to was just so distasted at the last joke he did. And then he turns to this table who like clearly doesn't know who this person is, doesn't have any interaction. Basically, he's like, fuck, whatever. He goes, bam, right to this guy, and he's like, gotta make a guy come, it's your butt, your mouth. And
and
they're
he's
like,
eating a piece of pizza as like mouth wide open, like, me? I'm like, yeah, dude, you got to make a guy come. What are you doing? He's like, oh, take it in the butt. I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't have to look him in the eye. Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense, you know?
it was great because that table wasn't, and I was like, you're new. That table wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now they are there because you just interacted with them, brought them in, and I was like, this guy's fucking got it, dude.
Well, the girl on the end did say that she did anal, like probably about 10 minutes before that,
When the fuck was that?
because she was pissed off at me about the Matthew Perry jokes.
It was when you did the song.
Yeah. Because I said, I
You
said
take it
probably
in the
take
rear.
it in the rear or something like that, and then she was like, "Woo!" I'm like, "Hey, give it up for her. She does fucking anal, dude." Like, and then her husband's just sitting there like, "I can't take this bitch anywhere." Like, God damn it. It's like,
I think during your set yesterday, my favorite joke of yours wasn't even part of the set. It was you made a gay joke, and you look at someone in the front row and you go, you don't like gay jokes, do you?
It was like a chick with like a shaved head.
you could clearly tell she was like one of those people that was like, "What'd you say about gay people?" I'm like, "It's just a fucking joke, dude." Like,
you know, like
You reeled her in, though. Then you got her
yeah.
talking.
well, she wanted to go on the fucking Netflix documentary with everybody else about how her grandma killed people. I'm like, we're not fucking doing this right now. Like, holy
What a
shit.
crowd interaction you had, too,
Bro.
bro. He went back behind the screen, just looks at me, and he's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I
It
was
was
listening
terrible.
to it."
It was fucking
why
terrible.
were all these people in the same place last night? What the hell?
Yeah,
where
who
was
the
this
fuck
crowd
are you
from?
getting to come
the
to these
front.
shows?
In the front, she bought premium, dude. She wanted to be right up in front.
So the girl with the short hair, I think she goes to like a lot of AJ's shows.
Yeah,
in this part.
That's
He said that, yeah.
The first girl who said her grandma had 7 husbands, I was like, damn, that's a family full of crazy.
She was a wild card.
Dude. And she was just like, me and you were going to have a conversation. And I'm like, no, the fuck we're not. Like,
I'll avoid you at all costs.
me being so new, like, it fucked up my whole rhythm. Like, I was like, fuck, man. Like, where was I going with that? Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I beat the shit out of my girlfriend. Like, like how do I get back into this? So like that was definitely a learning experience for me. So I just circled back to it. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna lean into this. Tell me more about me, Ma. Tell me more about how. And then she's like, she hit him over the head with the frying pan or something.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, dude.
I almost poked my head out just to watch her talk because I was sitting in the back and I'm like listening to this. I know who it is. I'm just not watching her talk. And I'm like, I have to almost see this. Like, what is happening right now? This is something that we're going to be seeing on a documentary in 5 years. And we're just casually talking about it in the Moonshine Comedy Club.
I kind of got tunnel vision when I said the reason why her grandma killed all of her husbands was because she never had a period before. Like, I kind of got tunnel vision and I'm like, wait, did I just really fucking say that? Like, why did that come out? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Dude,
but
It gotta pop.
In the back, you had everybody in the back in the VIP just laughing their ass off. And then I heard you hear us, and then you laughed even harder.
Oh yeah, dude! As soon as I heard his laugh, I'm like, God damn it, Travis! Like, now I'm gonna start fucking laughing. Like,
I really try because I know I can get you, and I try and shut the fuck up. But there was a couple times I was like, fuck, it's so good.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Once that shit starts coming up, now I'm like not even a comedian on stage anymore. I'm like, tell me fucking more. Like, I kind of want to hear about how weird you are. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Well, you picked a good one.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Can we circle back to your dad who was a muscle for crack dealers?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to hear some more like crackhead dad muscle stories.
So one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me was actually we talked about it on Boogered Up one time. Not this particular story, but one of the famous crackheads in the town that I'm from, Wayne Lee.
Wayne Lee, baby.
One time, Wayne Lee could have been a pro basketball
Best
player.
basketball
Let me
player I've ever
preface
seen
that.
in my life.
Actually,
Dude, fucking dog.
He crossed up my
Full-blown
Pontiac
addicted to
Sunfire
crack.
while I was driving. I almost crashed.
Yeah,
I
dude.
had to swerve over. He was in the middle of the fucking street, was walking. I'm driving. He stops in the middle of the street, doesn't have a basketball,
No.
but he starts dribbling and shit, does a spin. He's not moving. I'm
Yeah.
driving. I had to swerve around him. He spins. I actually almost went off road because he spun me out. He broke my ankles. It
Yeah,
was
dude.
crazy.
Damn.
That's how good of a basketball player he was.
He would hustle little kids out of money. Ask Nick. I mean, Nick got hustled by Wayne Lee.
Nick got robbed by him.
But one of my favorite stories was when I was a kid. We were at the gas station on the east side of town, and my mom is in the front seat. I'm in the back seat. We just went grocery shopping, so like I'm covered in groceries, like you know how it is when you're a little kid, you know. And Wayne Lee just jumps into the window as my dad's in the gas station. He jumps into our car window and just starts grabbing fucking change out of the center console. So my mom like reaches over and grabs his arm. Next thing I know, my dad has him by his legs, rips him out of the car, and is just fucking like Homer Simpson choking him on the hood of the car. And I'm like, oh shit, like Dad's about to kill a crackhead. Like, and all I hear is Wayne Lee. He's like yelling for my dad. He's like, Mike, stop. I just need help, man. I just need help. He's like, get the fuck out. I'm like, okay, let him go now. Like, I know crackheads are resilient, but they need air too. Like, it was rough, man. Shit, dude. I remember walking outside and walking out on the porch, and my dad's like just chilling, smoking a cigarette, and he's like, hey, go inside, they're about to start shooting at each other. I'm like,
okay.
I'm 7. What? So yeah, just walk back inside and lay down on the ground, wait till it's cool for Dad to give us the all clear. And I truly believe my dad and my mom were the only ones who didn't smoke crack in our neighborhood. They just helped, you know,
Dude, that's
take care
a
of the
flex.
crackheads. So
They wrangle
Everybody
the
has a
wall
role.
up.
yeah, absolutely.
Everybody has a role.
Absolutely.
No, and we were talking about this with Elijah actually, that every good comic has just like the right amount of childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, you're already on the right track.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
were set up.
it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, man, I had a pretty tough childhood. It wasn't terrible, but I had a pretty tough childhood, and now I'm actually benefiting from having mental issues from my childhood. So
Put it to work, baby.
yeah. It's like, you know what? Let's, instead of going to see a therapist, let's go fucking make dick jokes on stage. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to the Jews. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing.
So we talked about how you've only done 4 sets in your life. What got you up there the first time?
My dad dying. That was.
Damn, I did not expect that.
No,
answer.
for real. Like, seriously, like, that's what drove me to do it, because, like, one of the last conversations I had with my dad, I was bringing him back from a radiation appointment, and he's like, man, I'm proud of you. I'm like, almost stopped the car. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, my dad, he didn't say shit like that. He's like, I thought you'd be dead or in prison by now. I'm like, that's the best compliment you've ever given me in my whole life.
That's
like,
crazy.
So, I mean, it was just one of those things where I'm like, dude, I gotta do this now, because, like, my dad was just as funny as I was. He was the funniest dude I ever fucking met in my life. Like, so I was like, fuck it. I had an opportunity. My buddy, he's the one who put on the benefits comedy shows for the firefighters, and he's like, can you do 5 minutes? I'm like, yeah, dude, I got 5. He's like, can you do 10? I'm like, maybe. He's like, I'm gonna need you to do 20. I'm like, fuck you, dude. But I ended up doing
So
20.
good.
So
20 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
What is that like? How do you prepare? Do you write out a set, or you just kind of freestyle the whole thing?
you have panic attacks for a couple weeks leading up to it. At least I did.
Yeah.
No, I've always had material since high school. I would always write and just kind of refurbish some shit, change it up a little bit, and I knew it all like the back of my hand. So I'm like, fuck it, you know. And I'm pretty good at improvising shit and just off the top of the head. I mean, last night was pretty much 90% of that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, whatever anybody spoke up or anything like that, I'm like, all right, you're fucked. I'm gonna talk shit to you now. So,
Target.
yeah, absolutely, man.
You can go with the best of them. He
Appreciate
has a
that.
podcast, regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
And it's like what the AJ and Jake, we had them on the pod last night, and they were just talking, and you could tell that they're just in sync, and that's just who they are. I went and experienced the program, and it was just, I'm sitting around a circle, and there's just 3 connecting things, and then there's me, and I'm like, oh God, this is kind of intimidating. These guys really got this together.
The program is literally just 3 fucking gorillas sitting around talking about pussy.
Gorillas.
Like my brother and one of my best friends, we call him Fish, Anthony Slane. We've done the program for about 3 years now. We haven't put out an episode in like a fucking year, but
Did you just add a year to that after you went on this hiatus? Are you saying 3 years?
No. I'm saying 3 years because it's been 4 years since it started, but we like took a whole fucking year off. So
and they're
which is
not
funny 'cause
regularly
it's called
scheduled.
regular scheduled. So
They are not regularly
not
scheduled
at all,
At
so,
all.
yeah.
Not even close to being regularly scheduled.
yeah, that would if you do a deep dive back on some of the shit we've said on the program.
You getting canceled, you think?
More than likely, yeah.
I can see
There's
that.
a good.
I've
there's
only
a good
seen
chance
one of
of
your
it.
stand-up acts, you know,
Yeah.
but I agree with you.
Hopefully you don't get SNL or something.
No,
Yeah, oh, shit.
No, imagine this dude with a bunch of beers down, and he's also on a pod with his other homies, and he doesn't
Yeah.
even realize he's getting interviewed, or he's on a pod.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the program was.
This is what happens when he drinks. He takes shots at me.
Yeah, I talk shit about Travis on the podcast a couple times. We iron that out though.
Hey, but it's fun to joke
We
about.
iron that out. I love
fun
you,
to joke
baby
about.
girl. Don't ever forget that shit.
Fun to joke about.
Yeah, I think
Should have saw my face, bro. Dude, I was a fan of the pod.
You're like, what the
I'm
fuck?
listening to this
You're listening
shit.
to it and finding
I was
out?
listening to this shit. Yeah, I'll tell you this because you guys don't know this.
Yeah, I need to know.
So we started it up. Matt thought I was beefing with it. I was picking up from his shit. I was basically just being Matt. And I was like,
Travis was our idea of like he's our missing piece to the program. So then when he started Boogered Up, I was like, fuck yeah, cool. I listened to the first episode. I'm like, this motherfucker, he sounds just like me. He's talking about it.
copying
And then
me.
I'm like, it took me about like a month or two, and I'm like, no, we just find the same shit funny. Like, that's all that is. Like, I'm just a piece of shit for getting mad at him. But within that span,
it was so good. Dude, I'm listening to every podcast that they're putting out, and he's just throwing shade a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And I'm like, I'm hearing these things, and I'm like, I told him that one of them was funny, not realizing that it was at me. And he's like, at this point, he's like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like,
yeah,
he
I want you to be
enjoys
pissed
me
off
roasting
at me,
him.
dude. Like,
So we used to start the pod with crack, let's get it cracking, blah, 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 and everything else. we're like 5 minutes into the pod, and I hear it sounds just like everything stops because everybody knows what he's about to do in the pod, and like it wasn't set up, but he's like, "Fuck this, let's get cracking," and I was like,
Stole this whole fucking thing.
no way that just happened, bro. And so I'm immediately like, I'm listening to the rest of the episodes like a heartbreak. I was like, there's no way he hates me like this.
Damn.
I never hated you.
With what would you call Travis 12-year-old cheeks?
Yeah, that he's got jailbait butt, dude. Like
yeah,
he's got
I would agree.
little boy butt cheeks, brother.
I was very surprised. I thought you were working with more cake.
Nah, bro, I'm flat as a board. It's unbelievable.
Don't worry about it, dude. You could be fat and have no butt. That's me. All gut, no butt, dude.
Word up, brother.
It's terrible. I have the world's longest ass crack. I have to like lay down to shit. Like it's fucking terrible, dude. It's so rough. I have to have a fucking beater on underneath every shirt because if not, that butt crack's gonna be out. For
Really?
every fucking
I got
time,
that.
dude.
I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a long butt crack?
No, I just got big
You
nipples.
saw
I got
it,
big
bro.
nipples. Actually, that's my problem. Is I got big nipples.
You got big nips?
So they rub on my shirt. Yeah.
So I had the tank top on yesterday.
You
got
gotta
the
put some
tank.
Band-Aids over them, brother.
That's a lot of extra money and Band-Aids, dude.
For sure.
This shit adds up.
Yeah,
man.
It's all about
I
the
trialed
economy.
it a little bit.
Cody Ray is all about economics.
It is. It's all about the economics, dude.
He's like one $10 pack of beaters compared to over a month of Band-Aids doesn't equal out. I mean,
Doesn't.
if you got to
So-
run the marathon,
so
run the
many
marathon.
Band-Aids,
Put it
especially
over your
'cause my-
nips.
Especially because my parents made me do sports as a kid. I was fat as fuck, dude. Major rubbing issues.
What sports did you play?
Basketball. Well, I didn't play. I was on the team. Basketball, baseball, football.
Water boy.
Says every sport.
Yeah.
I didn't play any sports. We were too poor to afford sports. So
I wish that was my issue. I didn't want to play. I was just kind of forced into it.
Cody raised that kid that's always hurt.
I was.
Coach, I can't go in. My knees. bleed.
Dude,
By-
that was totally me.
By the time I
pulled
was
a hammy.
By the time I was a sophomore in high school, I had athletic-induced asthma. The fuck is that? It just means you're fat, dude. Like, you're out of breath because you're running.
You mean to tell me you got bitch lungs? Is that what's going on?
Pretty
here, brother?
much, yeah.
He's been training them. Trust me. I've seen Cody Ray smoke
Oh,
probably
they're-
an ounce of weed this weekend.
They're pretty primed up now. Like,
This man is an engine.
They're primed up. You think you got more endurance now than you did as a kid?
yeah,
The cigarettes help.
yeah.
Little known fact: cigarettes build your
My lungs get a lot of work. I feel like I'm smoking something constantly. Cigarettes, weed, dick.
Weed dick. I like how you try to throw dick in there real quick. Cigarettes, weed, dick.
Crack.
Okay, Cody Ray, thanks for coming on the podcast.
All right. There's me smoking that dick right there.
Don't ever change. Don't ever change.
I don't know how. I've been trying, so I'm locked into this.
Boys, it's been a great episode.
That was
Matt,
a great rap. I like that
it's-
ending
it's
right there.
Great to meet you. It was
Yeah,
a phenomenal
likewise,
set
brother.
yesterday.
Thank
I
you.
think it's not impossible that we drive out another 13 hours to come see the next one or a future one
Hell
if
yeah.
it lines up, obviously. But yeah, dude, thanks for coming on. We
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me, man.
They got open
Appreciate
mics
it.
in Minnesota.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If you wanna hit one
if you're
of
ever
those.
around
Telling me
Minnesota,
we're making a 13-hour drive? Is that what you're saying?
We're
Yes.
not, but like if you're ever in that area, you go to
Yeah.
Minnesota.
there's a couple of
Motherfucker,
really
we
cool
were
comedy
flying.
places in Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah, we should have definitely planned that better. We should have flew.
We should have.
That sucked.
You bought
Long
a
drive.
Tesla. You just wanted to show it off, and you didn't even fucking drive it.
Real
Thank
quick, with
God.
you guys being from Minnesota, does everybody really talk like that up there or no?
Yes.
The farther north you go, the more you get it. For
Gotcha.
sure. It's
My
their-
wife is bad.
Really?
Dude, it's great. We
It's
walked into that
hilarious.
house. She
Does
started
she-
talking, and everybody was like, "Whoa!"
Does she have it? I don't mean to intrude here, but does she talk like that in bed? Like, is it like, oh yeah, gonna
yeah.
rage
She
all
does.
night long?
Yes, she does.
What's the best line you've heard? We'll
Oofta.
end this on that. What's the best line you've heard?
Get down on my moose
Dog.
knuckle. No,
She. Oh, she's gonna hate this. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this. Oh God, I'm gonna regret this.
It's okay, dude.
Anyways, it was when we first started dating. We're gonna have to end it on this because I can't say anymore. Because she's gonna hate this. Okay, so we were like 18, 19 when we first started dating, and like I said, she has a very thick accent.
Yeah.
Right. I make fun of her for it all the time. This line just sticks out in my head, and immediately I busted out laughing. don't put it in my butt right away. Straight up. Just like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, all right.
She's like, you better warm me up back there. Why don't you go ahead and spit on it for a little bit?
I'm not going to hear the end of this.
Dude, hell yeah.
My girl's from the Philippines, so I mean, she doesn't have the accent, but I like to pretend that she has the accent. So I'll do the accent when we're fucking. And I'm like, oh yeah, me gonna love you long time. like real.
Fucking Lord, it's so
She's
good.
like, it's not fucking funny. I'm like, well, I just came, so it works out.
All right. Well, I'm fucked. I'm gonna make that 13-hour drive to be dead. So
Love you, Matt. Thank you for coming on,
Yeah.
Matt.
Thank you guys.
plug your socials. Where can people find you?
Instagram, Matt Roca Comedy, Matt with 1T, ROCA Comedy, and then same on TikTok, Facebook, just Matt Roca.
Boom.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.